guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how I make my journals for the year. You might be wondering why I have a gardening encyclopedia sitting in front of me. You're soon going to find out why. So this book I picked up recently from the Lifeline Book Fair that they have in Brisbane every year, or sometimes twice a year I think now. Anyway, I liked the size of this book. I will do another video on my 2024 journal and show you exactly how that's turned out. But I thought, why not show you how I make my journals for the year? So we're going to start with this book, okay? So what we're going to do is open it up, and what we're going to do is cut the cover off. So we don't need all these fabulous pages of cucumbers and carrots and crazy things. We're not going to use this. You could use this stuff if you wanted to, if you want to use it for book paper, or, you know, you're not really going to notice when you're backing things what the words are. It's just words, right? Totally up to you if you want to use this kind of thing. But what I do is cut the top off. So starting from the top here, we're going to cut the book out from the back. Oh, we didn't get very far, did we? There we go. So that's part of the book. So book lovers, please look away. This is not, it probably hurts your heart. But that's how I make these awesome covers for my books, for my journals, I should say, from old unloved books. So we're just cutting down the spine like so. It's usually they're not too hard to get out. But there you go. There's the inside of the book that we don't need. And I'll put that to the side. So what we're left with is the cover, right? So the cover's here, no book in between. Okay. So from then, what we are going to do is cut down these edges as well. Sometimes they can be a bit hard to cut with a knife like this. This is my very old faithful from a million years ago. That's not exactly very sharp anymore, but it does the job. You can always cut these with scissors if you can't get them out. So I really should put a mat down, shouldn't I? Okay, got a mat. I'll put that underneath that for a minute while we do this bit. A bit of that bit. So what I'm going to do is cut down this edge here. See where the groove is at the top there? We're just going to cut down this edge reasonably hard. And there you go. Most of the time it just comes off. Don't worry with how rough it looks. We'll fix that up later. So again, I'm just going to turn it around and do it this way. But you want to get it roughly on the edge. Totally up to you. Whoop, I went a bit crooked there. Cut the spine off. Some people use the spines in them, but I'm not a big fan. Don't love it. So then I just go back and trim off any dodgy bits. I don't need those bits. It doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. All right, I'll stitch that out of the way. And don't worry what colour it is. You can change that. No problem at all. So that's front and back. So you've got two covers to a book, okay? Exactly like this. So because that was only a very skinny spine, once we add our pages in, we need it quite wide because you are going to fill this book, okay? I'll quickly show you my other one. So this is this year's journal. Last year's, I should say. Look how big the spine is. It's enormous. Really, really big. So that's the way you sort of want to go for your books. So usually what I do, you open it up to as wide as you like. Now, I just use a piece of old pizza box. That's all mine is. And that's usually what I make my spines with. So I'm just going to measure my last year's one because it was actually perfect size. Oh, I'm just doing that a little bit off camera. Let me just measure this out. This is last year's book. And they are a bit soft. That's completely fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. So mine was about that long. So what you're going to do is then measure down. So this one comes to about here, I can feel it. So we're going to cut this part down, and we're also going to follow down to about here, okay? So I'm just going to use a ruler, and we're going to rule down roughly, now just check I've got about the right. So it's about 9.5 by 9.5, look at that. I can do it pretty straight when you have to. So then I'm going to cut this out, okay? Cut this out. I've only got my little scissors because my other ones have gone missing off my desk, but it will do the job. All right. And again, it doesn't have to be super neat. You're not going to see it, okay? We're going to cover it up. So, I'm going to do the same here. Cut across. Don't worry if you bend it. That's completely fine. Right, let's ditch the pig's box. All right, so we have our centre that's going to go in here, right? So I can probably tidy it up a little bit more on the bottom. Make it a little bit straighter. I need to go and find those big scissors. They're a bit of a pain for this. All right, so this is the spine, like so, okay? So what we're going to do next is I like to leave a little bit of gap. That gives you a little bit of folding room through here, okay? So a little bit of gap between the two. Not much, just a little bit. Something like about that. The more you make of these, the better you get at them anyway. So then we're going to get some packing tape. I just use packing tape on mine. Okay. Oh, we've moved a little tiny bit there. Put that back in place. That looks pretty good. Okay, see, it's not perfect. It doesn't matter. Honestly, you're going to cover it up anyway. Right, so then what do I do? Put our little piece back in, like so. Stick down. That's it, perfect. All right. So use our packing tape, rub that down so we get a good, nice mix fit on there. Oops, another camera shot, sorry about that. Okay, it's even got my postage stuff on it. All right, and do the same on the other side. So you've got a nice, strong stick is what you want. So that I just make sure it's all stuck down nice. Don't worry about all this stuff. It seriously covers up later. So then I just stick everything back down. So you've got a nice, it's attached, it folds good. Happy with that. See, there's this like, you're not even going to notice it later. I'll show you why. All right, so let's do the other side. That looks pretty good. Slight gap. Okay. Just looking good. Perfect. Hey, got a bit of a bend there. That's okay. Okay, good. Okay, pull that up a bit. Grab that bit off. Turn this over. There's our beautiful corn on the other side. All right. That's it. Stick it down nice and tight. Well, nice and firm, not tight, just firm. Do the same on the other side to get a nice stick and bond, which is good. I'm turning back over, back this way, and then stick him all back down, both sides, and voila, you have your cover. Make sure you've got plenty of fold, bend, all that sort of stuff. Okay, looks good. Perfect, looking good. All right, so then what we're going to do, I have already picked out what fabric. I'm actually going to use fabric. You could cover this in paper. If you wanted to, cover it in paper. If you've got a really nice book that's got a great design, by all means use that. Some people like using lots of kids' books and stuff like that to create their covers. I tend to cover things, only because you're looking at a bit of a dodgy old book. I don't really want, you know, corn on the front. So what I have done, I have grabbed some fabric. So I'm going to use these cute pencils as my cover today. So I usually pick two fabrics. So I pick one that's going to be on the covers, and then to cover up any little indiscrepancies or dodgy bits on your spine, I am going to use some orange. Nice bright journal for me for this year, I've decided. My last year was black and white, so I thought, let's mix it up a little bit. So that's what I'm about to do. So what we need to do first, I have ironed this, by the way, to get lots of the crinkles. This is actually just a fat quarter that I bought from Spotlight a little while ago. I think they've still got them. They're quite cute. They're very arty. I thought it was very me, so I thought we'll run with that. So what I am going to do is turn it over, okay, and then we're going to work out how much we need for each side. This piece of fabric, I could cover the whole book if I really wanted to, and do the spine as well. Although I do like the spine a different colour. It just looks a bit more exciting. So what I'm going to do, cut a piece. I'll probably move this up a little bit actually. Put it up towards the top. And what I'm going to do is cover each side, okay? So you can do it to the edge, you can do it to here, whatever you think you'd like to do. So I just need a little piece that I'm going to fold over, and then I'm going to put cardstock on the inside here. I think that'll be the better way to go. So, all right, let's get chopping. Okie doke. Don't have to leave a huge, actually these aren't very sharp, are they? Not very neat either, just quietly. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just mark roughly where the book goes to, which is about here and here, here and here. So I am gonna, so you could use this whole piece if you wanted to, seeing as it's wide enough for this particular book. It really just depends on the size of your book, okay? So from there, I'm just going to chop these because I don't want the middle bit. I could use the middle for something else, or as some decoration, you know, in the actual book, whatever works. So let's ditch those pieces. Right, so we've got two pieces, okay? So let's cover the front first. So we'll put him to the side. So what I normally do, I tend to use double-sided tape. I find that works just as well. You could use a really, really sticky stuff. I haven't found that the tape comes off underneath. It's usually fine. I'm a bit over there, but that's okay. I do like to put it on the edges though, so that you're sort of covering all bases, if you know what I mean. And I just sort of cover the book all over. So starting with the outsides, you can do this however way you like. I found this works. Some people like, actually I might bring that in a little bit. Some people like to use like glues and wet glues. I'm not a big fan. It makes everything a bit crinkly. So I try and stick with, I'm just going to run this up and down all over the book. Cover just so it all sticks. There's a bit of fabric under there. I've haven't had one that's come undone yet, so I find this works quite well. But that's totally up to you. You could use a glue, wet glue on it if, you know, that's what you want. If you think it'll feel more secure. All right, I've pretty much covered the book, right? So I'm just gonna pick some of this stuff off. I haven't gone right over to the edge because we're gonna cover the gap, if you know what I mean. You'll see what I mean when I get to that part. My fingernails. Takes a bit longer than I... There we go. Takes a little bit of time to get it done, but I really think it's worth it. Okay, so the fun with a print that is going one direction, you need to make sure that I get both the same on both of the sides. That'll be the only thing. So what I'm going to do is bring it to about here, because I'm going to overlap that fabric. As long as, yeah, I've got enough room on there. So then I'm just going to attach it, stick it all down. There's no crazy crease. Oh, there's one little crease there. It's easy to get rid of it. Pull it up, just give it a pull down. So it usually feels pretty tight. Once you put it on, it feels pretty good, okay? So then you're left with the edges, like so. So then you just go back through this bit. Same again, but you're only pushing down what's the overlap, okay? So you probably don't want to stick it all over the cover just yet. Okay, all right. That's it, it's pretty much covered the edges. So, do that bit. So it doesn't have to be super neat. You're not going to see it, so no big deal. I just sort of push it up. You get a nice little edge then. It's sort of holds it a bit tighter, which is good. So totally up to you. If you want to glue this bit, by all means, because you're not going to see it, okay? So up to you whether you want to, you know, fold your edges in, cut that bit off. I tend to just fold them in like that. You can cut them off if you feel like they're too bulky. Some people don't like them because they're too bulky, but I'm not that concerned about that. As long as I like the look of it, that's the main thing, right? You can pick and be perfect if you like, but perfect ain't me. As long as you're happy with how it looks, that is the main thing. Ooh, put that up a little bit. So, there we go. I just curled up a bit because you're going to see the corner a little bit. That's it. So up to you if you want to stick these bits down a bit more, just to where the edge of that is. That's it. And they'll just stick down like so. I might just put a little bit into that corner, but generally just to hold stuff down. So if you don't like the bulk, it's probably best to cut that corner like you do with books. But yeah, it's looking all right so far, looking good. All right, let's do the other side. Let's make sure we've got our pencils going the right direction. Yes and yes. It's the only thing with some prints, to make sure they're around the right way. Actually, I will just do all the tape first on this guy. but they're not difficult. Not difficult at all, actually. They're great to make. It's such an accomplishment when you make a journal like this. The first time I made them, I was very, very happy with myself. Oh, end of the roll. Move him. Got another roll of tape ready to go. This little clip thing, bought years and years ago. It is fantastic for this stuff. Just rips it for you. I do the little edge and in there. All right. Yeah. Run up and let's go across. Let's be different. Do whichever way you like. It doesn't really matter. As long as you've sort of covered the majority of the book. I know you use a bit of tape doing this, but I think it's okay. It works a treat, so it's good that way. But you can do it any way you like. There's no rules. Beautiful. Okay. Now, get all these off. Here's my bits here. Lift all the tape off. Not too much off. There we go. A little bit time consuming, but it's worth it, I promise. Just gets a better stick the more tape you put on it, I think. This one's pretty good. You can't feel anything move on that one, which is great. All right, done. All right, so now I'll leave that bit there. I'll do is pop it just on the inside. That looks good. That's pretty good. Fold it over, make sure we've got no crinkly bits. Got a tiny one there. Got most of that out though. It's good. Looks great. All right. So then I'm going to come back along with that tape again. Rightio, okie dokie. So let's pull this one nice and tight. It's probably better you do the two ends first. This one and this one. Alright, then, I didn't leave myself much fold over on this side, did I? Compared to the other side, but that's okay. Might just do a double layer there, just to make sure I don't miss any. So 1, 2, okay, let's fold this bit in. Teeny tiny little bit there. Just roll that edge in a little bit. Oop. Totally missed it. Right, there we go. Nice neat fold. Let's do the same on this side. Fold. And I'm going to tuck that in and give it a bit of a rub. Make it so it's nice and stuck. Like so. I need a little bit more tape on this end. Just here. Oh, I pulled the whole thing off. That's a worry. Go. Hold that. That's perfect. That looks pretty good. Okay, so what I might do is just go back under these. Again, you could use glue with this if you really wanted to make it nice and secure, but it's totally up to you. Just push down, make sure it's nice and tight. It's like it's quite secured. That's the main thing. Don't want this coming off. So, looking good. All right, that looks pretty good. Okie doke, there's our cover. So far so good. They're both going the right way. Nice. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to add our spine. So I've chosen this orange to put down the middle. So I don't mind that it's a little bit tatty on the sides. That's all part of the effect, right? But we just got to work out how far over I want to go. So I probably don't want those dots. We're going to fold those over a little bit. So usually I leave a little bit overhang because those are going to get, again, stuck down on the other side. Okay, so let's make a little bit of a pencil mark, roughly where that's going to go. I reckon about here. That'll give us a bit of an overlap. See that? It's going to give us a little bit of overlap on both sides. Okie doke. And then we're going to go down to probably about here somewhere. But we're going to do it on both sides. So we need to cut a bit of a line. That one's to about here somewhere. Again, I'm not a measurer. I just do it to roughly how it is. Not that fussy. Alright, now we're just going to follow this up. So this one, because it's going to be on the outside, so I've got a little bit of a funny groove bit there. We might just trim that bit up a little bit, just to get a nice edge. Oops, sorry, took it out of camera. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not what it's about, right? All right, so that's going to be our middle. Okie doke. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add our middle piece. So again, same sort of idea. We're going to tape down to wherever that may be. Looks pretty good. And again, same sort of an idea. Run up these edges best you sort of can. I put about, 4 or 5, maybe 6 strips up here, just to keep it nice and secure. That's good. All right, let's get all these bits off. Right, back with our book. So again, this doesn't matter which direction it goes because the pencils are in the middle. What I might do is just put my finger up that end just to fray it a little bit. So you've got a few threads. I like the rawness of some of this stuff. That's it. That's totally up to you how you like your edges, but as long as everything is covered, that looks pretty good. So again, same thing. You can see a slight mark there where my postage mark was. Probably should have pulled that off. That's okay, not a big deal. Perfect, that looks pretty good. So then the other side, when we flip it over, is going to be pretty much the same thing. So the pieces here, and it's got a bit of an overlap, so I might do a couple of rows of tape just to make sure everything's covered. That's it. All right. Okay, again, push that up a bit, like so, get a bit of stretch. Okay, it's a little bit flapping there, so I'll just pull it a little bit under there. Again, it doesn't matter if you see that tape because you're going to cover that. Just make everything nice and secure. Pulling everything off today. That's better. Okay, so as long as the edges and everything are nice and secure, that's good. Everything moves, it's not too bad. So we'll come back, and what we'll do is stick some pieces under here. Again, if you want to use glue, by all means, totally up to you. Usually I just use tape. If it's still a bit, dodgy after you've started putting things in or starting, with pages and things like that, by all means, just give it a glue. I don't love glue on this part. To fix up little inconsistencies, it's fine, right? All right, see, we've still got a little flap there. Let's put that in under there. Gosh, I'm having trouble getting that to stick on. There we go. That's perfect. Looks good. All right, so there's the outside of the book, looking good. So far so good. Okay, next what we're going to do, I've decided that last year's album I didn't put a ribbon to be able to tie it up once it's all finished. So this year I'm going to put one on it because I think it just finishes the journal off a little bit. So I've just got some white ribbon that I'm going to use, and so I get all that sorted. So, you know, this you could put all the way across if you really want to. I probably don't have enough ribbon for that. So what I'm going to do is just put it, I measured. I'm going to show you this. Let's put it to there, and let's, I don't know how far that is. It's probably enough to tie up though. How long is that? 40, maybe 40 centimeters. That's what I've used, so I'm just going to stick that on there. Let's measure the second one, so they're roughly the same length. I'll get that out of the way. So now this is up to you. I would tend to glue this a little bit just to give it a bit more security. What I might do though, I might tape it. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You are not going to see this part. And roughly the same on the other side. Ooh, let's bring it in a little bit. Got a bit excited with that piece. And about the same. Right. Take my tape off from both sides. This is really not measure crazy. I'm not a measury kind of person. I'm just a stick and put this on. So what I'm going to do, I pull glue, it's getting a bit low, but I am going to put it across here as well, and a little bit, because we are going to cover this up. So you're going to cover up this ribbon where the ribbon is. So you could make that shorter if you want to, so that you've got a longer tying to stick on there. That actually feels like it's stuck pretty good, which is a good thing. All right, so let's do the other on the other side. Again, my poor glue needs filling up. Oh, there it comes. This is just PVA, so nothing special. I think it's Montmartre, something like that. I like it for sticking things down. Put plenty on. Okay, so then I'm just going to put that about the same, about there, and stick him down, because you don't want these to come out because it's really hard to get them back in. But if they're nice and stuck, looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. How they are. Actually, I might move this one out just a little bit more, so it's got a bit more length. But if we fold these in, they're pretty good. That looks pretty good. All right, so in the meantime, while that sits for a couple of minutes, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the inside of my journal. I am going to put white cardstock as my inside colour. So I know that's a bit wet there, which is not helpful, but we can get the idea of the size of this. So I'm just going to cover pretty much, it's only going to become scrap anyway. I put it just over, see where that overlapping is just there? I would put it just over the top of that, because we're going to put a piece of orange fabric as well. Okay, so that's one piece. I've got a bit of glue on the back, but that's okay. So I'm just going to use my cutter. Just don't want to stick it in all the glue. Cut that to size. Let's turn it around the right way. That might be more helpful. So I'm just going to cut that to the right sizing. Use that as scrap paper. And this one, same. And so this is for this side. We'll do a bit of glue on that one. And then this one, just in case it's not exactly perfect. So we're going to go to about there. It's about the same sort of distance all the way around. Into there. About there. Again, with my trimmer, trim it to the sizings. Hopefully my cutter's not sitting in the glue. Right, so that will be for that side. So this is up to you again, how you want to do this. I usually stick it with tape. You can put a little bit of glue on the inside if you like, but I'm just going to stick all this to the edges. That's too much. Let's do it that way. So we're just doing it right around the edge again. It doesn't have to be everywhere, but it doesn't matter too much, as long as it's secure, right? Okay. Right, let's get all that off. Gosh, making a bit of a mess over here. But all these edges off. So, oh, that's done. All right, all nice and flat. So then what I'm going to do, come on glue, you can do this. Give it a bit of a, just going to give it a bit of a squirt, just so that we've got everything secured. Okay. Stick him on where you want him to be. So it's roughly got the same edge all the way around, and push down like so. That's it. Feels good. No bumps or lumps, or you can feel where the ribbon is, but it's nice and neat, which is good. All right, let's do the same on the other side. Just going to put some tape down first, get rid of that bit of thread. Gosh, I can't grip it the right size, can I? Okay, so that's pretty much all of that. I'm just going to take all these edges off again. That's done. Beautiful. That looks good. All right. So, same again on this side. Just going to use my glue that's almost empty. Come on, glue, you can do this. One last go. Oh, there we go. Okie doke. So this gets nice and stuck. Same again. Just make sure that you've got a nice gap, even gap all the way around. That looks pretty good. So we've got it to there. Perfect. Looking good. That looks really good actually. So then what we are going to do is come back and do our middle. So this could be a little bit of a problem. We're not quite wide enough, are we? All right, let me see if I've got another piece. Right back. Okay, I've checked. I do not have any more of that orange, which is fine. It doesn't matter. What we're going to do, I'm going to use this scrap of the other piece, and I'm going to make that for the center. Normally what I would do is use a piece of this to cover where your edges all sit. But what we're going to do is use the outside to make the inside. So we're going to pop it over. So I've just cut it to roughly the right size. So you just want it to be able to cover where your white cardstock and stuff is. You could do it with cardstock in the middle if you wanted to, but it doesn't fold as well as fabric does. So you will get lots of different crease marks. You'd probably have to put a crease mark in it to make it fold the best. And just quietly, this is where your signatures are going to go. So you're not actually going to see much of this anyway. Snow, as long as it all relatively matches, let's go with it. All right, so same sort of thing again. We are going to put some tape down the edges. Nothing like improvising when you're creating these. I did not check that to see that I would have enough, but that's okay. Nothing like a bit of improvising to make it all work. Oh, that one's a bit short. Let's go there. Alright, so I'll put that across the top. See, this one might be okay too, to do with a little bit of glue to stick the edges down. I find it's more the outside when you glue stuff. It's totally up to you. You can see my little marks here. Once that dries, you're not even going to see them. It'll sit flat anyway. It's just while it's wet, gives it that lumpy feeling. So totally up to you what you want to do. They all work as long as it adheres and sticks. It doesn't really matter. Okay. All right, so there's our bit there. So this doesn't really matter because we're going up and down on that side. So I think I'm gonna put it that way, since that's the front. So again, doesn't matter if it's got a bit of fraying, as long as you're covering the white cardstock. I think that's the best way to go. But again, you don't want to pull it too far. That's it. That's pretty good, I think. As long as everything's covered, that's the main thing. So either or, you can stick tape down this side. I'm actually just going to use glue. Glue it in on these little edges, just to hold everything in nice and secure. I really do need to fill this glue up. Feels pretty good actually, which is good. So I'm just going to stick some more glue in the top here. This side's only just covering, so you just want to run it down the edge of where the cardstock is. God, there's nothing coming out. I'll fill it up before my next video, I promise. What? Pulled it slightly. So then I'm just going to run it just ever so slightly, gently, to make it work. And as long as your cardstock is covered, that's all you need to worry about. It feels pretty good. So there you go. Give it a little bit of a fold. See how it goes a little bit creasy, but that's okay with fabric. Like, it sits pretty well. See, that bit's got a little bit creasy. Just got to put it into the crease. Get what I mean? So you've got a nice little crease. better once it dries, of course. But that is looking pretty good. What do you reckon? Pretty crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's looking great. All right. Looking good. Liking how that's going. So what I'm going to do is let that dry, leave that sit overnight, just let it all dry properly, and then I'm going to come back in my next video and we're going to make the signatures that go in the middle here, and put our journal together. Sound like a plan? See you in the next video. Bye.